Hi, I'm Jocelyn. Welcome to Fast Easy Vegan. Today we're going to make pad thai. I'm so excited. It's on page 334 in my book, Fast Easy Vegan, which you can get on Amazon if you choose. So with the recipes in my book, they're all standard in that they are built around 4 people. So because there are only 2 in my house, I'm cutting this recipe in half, and so maybe you will find this useful too. So we're going to start with making the sauce while the water's heating for the noodles. Okay, and I will read you the instructions as they put them in the bowl. I mean the ingredients as I put them in the bowl. 1/4 cup Bragg's aminos. Now, remember, I'm reading these from the recipe book, but it's actually half of what I'm telling you, if that makes any difference. So, 1/4 cup of Bragg's aminos, 2 teaspoons of agave nectar, juice of 1 lime, 4 cloves of garlic minced, rice vinegar 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon of grated fresh ginger, a tablespoon of cornstarch mixed with a tablespoon of water. So we want to blend that a little bit before we mix that in with the rest of our sauce ingredients. Okay, so that's our sauce right there. We're just going to mix it all together and set it aside. That's going to be the last thing we put in. The next thing we're going to do is cook these rice noodles. It was years before I figured this out, because of course the ingredients are either in Chinese or Thai or some language I don't speak. So, I mean the instructions. So I never really knew. So I would cook them just like any kind of noodle, and you don't. With rice noodles, you pour hot water over them and just let them sit, which gives you the opportunity to cook the rest of your dinner. And it's about ready. What a happy coinky-dink. Okay. Let's just cover these guys. This is the recipe calls for a 1 pound package, or a lot of them are 14 ounces, and that's fine too. And let's make sure they stay covered, and we want them to just sit there in that hot water for about 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to put those aside while we're cooking our dinner. So, the ingredients here are a 1/2 an onion slivered in 1/2 moons, so you cut it in half, and then you slice it really thin. A carrot cut in little batons, and we're going to put those in first because these are the longest cooking. Into our dry pan, because we know how to do that, with some water to let that soften up just a little bit. Okay. And then we have, so we have an onion, which is going in next, carrot, a red bell pepper. So I actually just grabbed some red peppers from my garden that were sitting there waiting to be plucked. I threw in a little red jalapeno because I love the heat. A brick of tofu. You don't need to press it, but I did because I like dense tofu a lot. And then for garnish, we've got, and bean sprouts. It calls for, okay, an onion, a carrot, 4 scallions sliced, 2 tomatoes. This is supposed to be a garnish, but I really liked cooked tomatoes, and these store-bought ones really have no flavor, so they'll just kind of add to the dish. 1 red bell pepper and 1 brick of tofu. So the basil and the bean sprouts go in at the very last minute. This is going to go on top. Oh, and peanuts, a half a cup of peanuts. And these also go on the top, and they give that nice flavor and a little bit of crunch. All right. So we're going to let these cook for a while until they're soft. Things are ready to be put together. So let me go drain the noodles. They're nice and fluffy and ready to eat. Oh, they look perfect. They feel really, really good. And now is the time, while everything's hot and bothered, to throw in our last, I turned off the heat, to throw in our last bits. The bean sprouts here, that we don't want them to lose their crunch. And I'm throwing in the basil just to wilt the leaves a little bit. And I'm throwing in the sauce. And once that thickens, we are good to go. Which is pretty much right now. Okay. I wish you could smell this. It's all gingery and yummy. Turn that off. Let me get my tongs. Now the recipe book suggests to mix everything together, and I usually do, but tonight I'm just in the mood to put it on the top because actually it's prettier that way. Oh, this smells so good. Okay, so let's throw some peanuts on there. Just scatter a couple of peanuts across the top. Get some scallions on there for some color contrast as well as flavor. And there you have it. Isn't that delicious? Bon appetit. I hope you love it. I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.